a playlist original.
Hey, what's up? It's your host, Tori, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I am so glad you're here. I have a super fun episode with Maddie today that I hope you enjoy. And this week I'm off to New York. So what's up on the RTBP docket? I'm going to have 2 episodes each Sunday as per usual. One is going to be all about the Royals with Zachary, and then the other is going to be an episode I did with the old millennials back in the fall about 2000s makeup. But everything will be normal over on the Patreon. This week I covered Coachella iconic moments with Emily Rose since it's weekend 1 of Coachella. And then the week following, I was going to do Katy Perry's pettiest moments, but the episode kind of morphed into a episode about brands that we didn't know were owned by certain celebrities, because Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom own the most Randy Jackson company you've probably ever heard of. So I'm going to get into that with Lindsay. So if you're looking for more RTBP content, head over to patreon.com/RTBP podcast. And this week I want to shout out one of our patrons, Allie H. She is one of the sweetest people I've ever met on the internet or otherwise. And Allie, you contribute so much to our patron community. I appreciate you so much. Your laugh is infectious. I'm so glad that we've been able to chit chat over our book clubs and patron hangouts through this month in Petty. It's been so much fun getting to know you. So I appreciate you being a patron so much. And I can't wait to get to know you more. Okay, friends, it's time for today's episode. Here's my conversation with Maddie. I'm back with a very special guest, Maddie from the Parked Car Combos podcast, also at mad_Mitch on TikTok. Maddie, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tori. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy you're back. I feel like it's been a while, so it's nice catching up with you.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've sat with a microphone in front of me too. So this is like, it's
I know.
all coming back to me.
I know. I'm like bullying you into like restarting your podcast.
Like only introduces me like that. So I'm forced to go record an episode later. Yeah.
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 You will. You will. You'll be back.
I will be.
I know.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's coming.
But you host it's like a pop culture-y, life advice-y, girl post-graduation type podcast.
That's exactly the category that it falls under on Apple Podcasts, actually. How did you know?
And it's a good time, but you haven't recorded an episode, but you will. So everyone like go subscribe to our podcast. But this is pressuring you to get back on the mic. And then on TikTok, I feel like you've been going viral. Like I see your face on so many like stitches and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck? I know this girl.
It is crazy because people will send me videos that are stitching me that went so much more viral than my original video.
Yeah.
And something crazy happened a few months ago. I made a video and a girl stitched it, and her video got like 1 million likes and mine didn't. And people started commenting on my original video that she stitched, saying that I was ripping her off. And I was like, you're so stupid. She literally is stitching my video. It was,
oh my God.
People are dumb. But yeah, I think I've been through a roller coaster the last few months, and it has made for good content, if nothing else. So
for sure. I've enjoyed, I know, because I like feel like we talk all the time, but it's actually just me listening to your life updates and stuff on TikTok.
People say that to me a lot, and I get very
Yeah.
scared. Some people I haven't seen since like high school, they're like, but I feel like I know what's been going on. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you don't.
Some of my like IRL friends will be like, "Oh, I think you actually didn't tell me that. I listened to it on your podcast." And I'm like, "Sorry." Like, if that's the way you're finding
I
out.
know that
Like,
feels like weirdly non-consensual. Like I didn't tell you that
mhm.
directly.
Literally. We're back to talk about like, for me, really fun stuff. For other people, I think 3 tragic stories in the news.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna talk about the Taylor and Joe breakup, and then we're gonna talk about Khloe Kardashian. She has some interesting things going on. And then Aidan and Carrie, some leaked pictures a while back. This is a while back, but why I'm bringing this up is because Maddie and I covered, and just like that, season 1 and a bunch of pics for season 2 got dropped, so I have to hear her thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about Taylor and Joe.
If we have to.
How did you find out?
On Twitter, I think it was the like original tweet that popped off and everyone was like, there's no way that this is real. And I literally sent it to you immediately, like within seconds.
I know,
I was like,
I know.
no,
Yeah.
there's no
You were
way.
the first person. Yeah, you were the first person that sent it to me. I was in Seattle and I didn't turn on my like roaming data.
Mhm.
So I went to Target and then got on their Wi-Fi and wasn't even looking up news. I was like Googling like a product or something like that I wanted to buy, like skincare or something like that. And I went to Google and it was like the first thing. And I was like, oh my God.
No.
But I don't think I had time to process because I was like trying to get my like Target haul
Right.
on.
Well, I think because I saw it so early too, it was in the window of like, is this actually real or not? Like it
True.
hadn't settled after like, because after a couple hours, I feel like it was confirmed like by so many other people, and it was kind of like, okay, this is real. But I feel like I got to it quick enough because I don't have a life and I live on social media where I was like, no, there's no way. And I was able to live in a state of denial for a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting how many people are still in denial.
Yeah.
When I'm like, when people breaks a story, like it's not a blind item or a
Mhm.
Dumois rumor,
Mhm.
like it is from a publicist.
Right. Yeah. I think after a while it sunk in, hit home.
It sunk in.
But
yeah,
it is just crazy. It was just like not something I saw coming, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that was like a general consensus, but at first I was sad, and then now that I've processed it, I'm like, she's literally fine. It's gonna be totally fine.
100%. I think that, like, again, after you sent it to me, like a million other people sent it to me, and all my responses were like, I'm shook. And it's not that I'm shook that they broke up necessarily, because I've always said that Joe seems like very generic and she seems like just like one in a million. Like, I feel like such a like stalker. It's very much the like she's Barbie
And he's just Ken. Yeah, no, it is giving very much that. But I totally understand where you're coming from, but I think through her beautiful lyricism, I was able to like craft that he was just this like we just don't know him. You know what I mean? Like we just don't
Yeah, that's
know
so
him
true.
like she does, and there's something there, obviously, because if Taylor fucking Swift chooses to date you for 6 years, there must be something there, right?
100%. I think like I was also just again surprised because I feel like with how private they were, we didn't see any like ups and downs. So they just seemed so stable.
Right.
And I feel like also when you're in your 30s, if you're in a like long-term relationship, like they dated for 6 years, that, you know, you just kind of like that's a rough breakup, like for sure. Just because I feel like, you know, everyone has this pressure to like get married or like whatever, which she talks a lot about in Midnight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's like, that's like, she's the poster child for you better fucking get married like tomorrow. No, I totally agree. Then it came out that they had actually broken up a few weeks ago, which I think it must have been longer than that because if you have been dating for 6 years and you break up, are you really going to be like quick to announce it when you have the most private relationship and like no one would really find out about it? You know what I mean? I feel
100%.
like she must be totally fine at this point in time. Like I feel like they've gone through.
Clearly, we've seen
Yeah, yeah,
her.
she definitely,
Yeah.
I feel like they had to have broken up longer ago than just a couple weeks because I feel like she herself and like her publicist, like they would have waited until after that like grieving period because that just doesn't make sense. Like if you're the one that's coming to the press and announcing this, like wouldn't you wait until like the dust has settled and everything's fine?
100%. I totally agree. Like, if not weeks, like
Hmm.
months that they broke up
Hmm.
because, again, she's just so visible ever since the Eras tour started that it makes total sense that, like, she seems to be thriving. She looks so healthy. She
Hmm.
looks happy, like, all of that stuff. And I just feel like they broke up, like, I don't know, in the fall.
That's
Like,
kind of
that's a
what I
huge
was thinking.
speculation, but. Yeah, like it just seems like she's like maybe not over it, but like she doesn't seem like she's more like in a mourning period.
Right. And it definitely before tour, which I feel like that makes sense because I feel like that would
Yeah.
be a huge like thing. Like, I'm not in a relationship with a international pop star, but I would have to imagine that that would be like a point of contention in a relationship. Like, oh, you're leaving for
Totally.
months to go on tour. Like, I feel like that could have been a catalyst or something like that.
Yeah, okay. So like two things, you're right. Like tours last like sometimes 1, 2 years. Like
Hmm.
fucking Harry Styles, I feel like has been touring for like 15
Literally, his
years.
whole
Like
career has been.
like seriously. So it's like, yeah, you're right. That probably puts a strain on relationships if it's like I know she's only done the US tour, but
Hmm.
like Harry has been like everywhere and like yeah, that I feel like would be you're just so busy doing a tour and so tired that I feel like that would put a strain on it, but I don't know. Like we didn't see him. It makes sense that she maybe wouldn't like they had the Ticketmaster stuff. I don't think she would have announced it like fall Christmas of that
Mm-hmm.
year. And then the tour started and she was like, oh, we should announce it on a date where I have like the 2 weeks off,
Hmm.
which she did between what is it, Vegas and Florida,
Yeah. Yeah.
Tampa, I think. So like I just feel like it makes sense. She already had that picture out in New York where she looked like she was like out and about with friends. And I just feel like I guess like when anything bad happens, like there can be happy
Hmm.
moments. Like
Hmm.
so maybe we just catch her at a happy moment, but like I feel like it's all very pointed that she's like doing well.
Right. And it's like if you're gonna go about it in this very like systematic way where it's not like something was like leaked to the press, like they clearly came
Yeah,
forward and made this. So it's like I feel like you have the option to take that time. Um,
totally.
and then
You're right. You're right. Like it wasn't, we didn't find out about this.
right,
Literally, her publicist
right. So this is
called
clearly like
people.
a
Yeah, like a planned
yeah,
and timed
yeah.
thing. Yeah. It was also interesting that she did it on the Saturday because a lot of people like this just happened with Reese Witherspoon and
Hmm.
Jim Toth announce it like Friday evening where people are like heading out on their like vacation plans. I guess it was Easter. Maybe she
Hmm.
thought it would blow over because everyone was with their families or whatever and Passover, etc.
Hmm.
But that did not happen.
It's not the way that it shook out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone was because obviously I feel like each day like a new little detail comes out, and people have been saying
Yeah.
that it's because he didn't understand how famous she was.
Yeah. Do you believe any of that?
Is he stupid?
Yes, like yeah, like are you fucking kidding me? Like that is like the dumbest shit ever. But then I do feel like, for example, he met her when she was in hiding
Yep,
for rep. Like heard podcasters talk about
yep.
this. Then it was COVID,
Hmm.
which is obviously a very different
Hmm.
experience than dating like when she's flying around on tour.
Hmm.
And then it's now. So she has reached another level of fame, I feel like, since they first started dating.
Right.
But also, even when they started dating, she was like one of the world's biggest pop
Well,
stars.
right.
So,
And it's like I just don't understand how you don't know what you're getting yourself into when you start
yeah.
dating Taylor Swift. Like that's just
Yeah. That's
crazy.
so
Yeah,
dumb.
it's dumb.
Yeah. Dumois keeps doubling down that they got married in the UK or did some type of like civil ceremony or whatever. but I don't believe that.
I do. Only because I've
Oh.
I've I've said for so long that like she's been married. Like I'm 100% one of those people that's like she got married, she probably like has a secret child. Like I just like fully believe
Yeah.
that just because
Just the secret child with Carly Claus. Like,
I just like think
not this podcast turning into a conspiracy
just because I
podcast.
feel like if anyone could pull that off and like keeping that hidden from the world, like it's her. And so I just like I like to believe that, but obviously that didn't turn out the way that we were hoping. So
totally. There was a few signs at the Eras tour.
mm-hmm.
She changed Invisible String to the One, which I think is the most telling and most concrete
Oh, for
sign.
sure.
I definitely think she had Invisible String on and then was like singing it, and then maybe it was just too emotional, so she changed it to the One. Like, I don't think it was like, oh, they broke up within the last 3 weeks and she had to change it.
Right.
Like, I think she chose Invisible String, was like, okay, this is way too like like emotionally taxing. I can't get to the next like song as easily, so I'm gonna change it to the One. I don't know. Or is that more devastating? I don't know.
Well, actually, now that you say that, because I'm like, the One is so pointed. And I feel like it's so
pointed.
It's like, especially if we're to believe that they just had this like amicable, they grew apart, like that is the One. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but
it's so on the nose.
That song's not about him. Also,
for sure it's not, but it like weirdly fits the bill in every single.
I know.
Checks all the boxes. Like she subconsciously wrote about it like 4 years ago, not knowing that this was gonna happen.
Yeah, which I would think is almost harder to sing about, but maybe not, because again, it's not about him. So maybe Invisible String just like hits different. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've also seen so many videos of her just like crying on stage, and then everyone's like, or she's literally just dripping in sweat because she's like literally running around on stage for like 4 hours. But I've seen her cry to Champagne Problems, and people saw that she was crying during Midnight Rain too, which is another one that kind of also fits the bill of them.
Yeah.
And obviously that isn't about him either, but it kind of still goes hand in hand.
Like it could be.
Yeah. I feel like she just started realizing that like all of her songs like shit.
Yeah, she's like, I'll just drop a tear. Yeah. 100%. I have seen the most unhinged and unhealthy reactions on the internet, and I did like a little roundup of my favorite. So let's go through some of them, because it's just been like a wild ride at how many people are like devastated by this news or like really excited. There's the Liza Minnelli Outlives Twitter account that tweets like monumental events that Liza Minnelli has outlived. And there's one on April 8th. Liza Minnelli has outlived Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn's relationship. They have broken up after 6 years. And then this person named @Selena Nope, which is Katie, says this is a more reliable source than the New York Times. I'm sorry, it has to be true.
It's so true. And I also love that in the original tweet, they didn't even write up, they just wrote you. But for some reason, it's like so reliable and so trustworthy, even with the typo. It's like, I believe you.
Literally. That's such a funny Twitter account. But you always also get like, I feel like tricked nowadays, because I'm like, oh, it has the blue check mark. Then I'm like, oh no, those are paid now. It's not the gold checker. Yeah. So funny. There is @EnchantedJust13 tweeted, family and friends texting me like I'm the one going through a breakup right now. And then I guess her dad texted her, amazing job on your animation project. Sorry to hear about Taylor. Just saw it. Did any of your family and friends message you?
My dad texted me about it, but he wasn't apologizing to me as if it was happening to me. He just said, so crazy or so sad about Taylor and her bae, because he still thinks that that's a thing. Clearly saying bae all the time. But I don't think he was expecting me to be taking it so seriously, because I was like, no, I know it's really sad, and then he never replied. So I think he thought that I was gonna be like, right, so crazy, but I was in grieving at that point in time, so he wasn't prepared
so
for that.
funny.
Yeah,
That's so funny. This next one at Cadley Mac, Karina Adley McKenzie says, when she started playing the one instead of Invisible String, I knew.
mm-hmm.
Which, like, looking back on it, I feel like instead of just like, oh, like she switched a song
Mm-hmm.
out, we should have like been like, why did she switch
Mm-hmm.
the song out?
I know. Well, because she just, everything is so, like, it's like you just can't you can't
Plan.
overlook a single thing. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think with like the surprise songs, people and like her being like, you'll never know what the set list is going to be. Like, you can't come prepared. I just think that we just didn't think too hard about that.
Right. Well, because it's like she has all these other songs to like circle in. So it just kind of seems like she kind of has to, like, there almost doesn't need to be a rhyme or reason because she has so many songs to work with. But knowing her, that's obviously not the case.
Yeah. At 15, Swift says, not gonna lie, LOL. Situations like these really revealed the people who can differentiate Taylor Swift, real person, from Taylor Swift, rich celebrity with a brand. Poignant. At it's Fleabags, but there's like an I and a C instead of an L and an A. Says, our ecosystem has collapsed and there is an official Sally Rooney, Taylor Swift, Phoebe Bridgers Fleabag roadmap between all of the main characters, and then like, you know, the Conversations with Friends cast. And it's delicious.
It is. The fact that someone spent time to craft that is jarring.
Yeah.
But I love it. I'm living for it. And a lot of people have been talking about the downfall of these two iconic relationships and how they've happened just so close together. It's a little suspicious.
It is a little suspicious.
I don't know what it means, but it's a little suspicious.
Gotta update that.
Seriously.
It would just be such a weird experience to have, to be like, oh, I gotta update my ecosystem map.
I don't think that's a sentence you could say out loud if this is said ecosystem map. You just couldn't speak of it, I don't think.
Literally. At TS Young Reckless tweeted the lyrics, and that made me want to die, when the people, like with the quote tweet of the People article. I'm like, really, guys? Like, I feel bad for her, but like, did we care about Joe that much? Like, that it made you want to die?
I think it's just like the songs. We hear the songs and we're like, she was so in love. Like, Sweet Nothing is actually one of my like weirdly favorite songs by her, and I just cannot get over it. Like, I've just been like replaying it. I'm like, that's how can two things be true at the same time?
I know, 100%. Okay, but I also, in my first listen of Midnight Rain, hated Sweet Nothing so much. And then now I like listen to it. Like, I actually like purposely put it on.
Right. And I feel like, sorry,
go ahead.
I just got so intense about this song.
I know, like,
because you were saying earlier that like Joe is so generic and boring, but I feel like that song kind of shows that was like a good thing for her, almost, that he like wasn't. You know what I mean?
The chord progression is so simple.
No, just like the fact that she's talking about that, like, he doesn't expect anything from her, and he's just so like, I don't know, he's just like there. I feel like he's just always there.
It makes 100%. It makes so much sense that from a world that is so demanding of someone, that you would want someone that doesn't expect anything of you. I think a lot of major celebrities want that. And like, that's fucking cool. Like, again, like, I don't think a lot of people could do that. I feel like Joe is like an enigma in that way, that like, it seems like he treated her like, you know, any other person, which I just don't think a lot of people can really do.
Right.
One thing I do want to say, though, is I actually don't even know if Sweet Nothing necessarily is about Joe. I definitely think that on a...
Don't. That's a rabbit hole
I feel like
we do not have time for.
I'm so psychotic when it comes to this stuff. I just think it could also very much be about her mom or a parent or something like that, because and this isn't something that I had originally thought about, because I think I do believe it's about Joe in my heart of hearts, but I definitely think that there's nothing necessarily romantic about it. If it doesn't, like, it's not explicitly romantic.
That's true.
But there is obviously clues that it would be him, like he wrote the melody, the stone in your pocket from where he was filming his show. Like, so I don't know. It just, who knows? But we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, that song is gonna
like haunt me. I was like fully prepared to walk down the aisle to that song. And now what? And now what, Taylor?
Stop. I'm fucking dead. At Fool SRRY tweeted, Taylor or Joe, deny the rumor now, please. They're getting out. And it is a TikTok like screenshot of someone that said, so you're saying that Harry Styles is single and Taylor Swift is ... potentially single? And it's like, guys,
no,
that was a fake relationship. No. Like, fucking get over it.
Like,
so embarrassing.
That would be the weirdest. That would be the, at this point in time, that would just be so bizarre. It's like
no one would believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not even remotely believable. And like at this point, like Taylor Swift is so far past fake relationships. Are you kidding? If Taylor enters a PR relationship, the world would be over. That just like doesn't make any sense at this point in time. I would not be okay.
Yeah, like with Harry Styles to like gain more clout, like that just actually does not make sense.
Like, two people that need more clout on the planet. Like,
yeah,
they're good. They're sad.
That's just so dumb. At Lavender Glow 13 tweeted, I still believe in Toe. I haven't given up on them being together. Have you? Like, you guys, we don't know Taylor. I'm like, we don't know Joe. Like, this is fucking crazy.
It is. The element of this that I love is that, like, I feel like no one knows anything about Joe. And so it's like, no! He's such an enigma in the way that he's like a blob of nothing that no one knows anything about. Yeah. So it is funny to like see people be like so sentimental about like this man. It's just like, what about him?
Don't be that. Yeah, like literally could never be me. Someone replied to this, I would never give up. And then the original, the OP wrote, me either, but a lot of Swifties have, and it's sad. Like, what?
It's so bad. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. That was on the first day that it was released, I think.
Yeah.
So there was a wave of denial in the air. Hopefully they've moved on at this point.
Seriously. Reminds me of like the type of fandom. There was a Taylor Swift like updates account that they lived in a country where conscription was still mandatory, and they like fought against it and was jailed. And they literally like, have you seen this? They like posted a Twitter that was like a scrap of paper that was like, I'm still like, I'm coming back to this account like after my jail sentence. Like, and like was updating some like Taylor Swift news from jail.
That's so psychotic.
I'll put it in the show notes because I feel like everyone's gonna be like, that was fake. Pop Bass, one of my favorite Twitter accounts, tweeted, Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn have broken up after 6 years together, ET reports. And then at Hexenbrenner2 said, how the fuck that little alien know?
That one was the best one I saw by far. So good.
At Lissa Jo Stewart, thank God, she said, Taylor already grieved the loss of the rep/lover muse. Hope this helps. And she underlined a bunch of lyrics throughout those two albums. And it's like, thank you. I am so sick of people being like, I could never walk Cornelia Street again. And like referring to Joe. I'm like, it wasn't about Joe.
I saw you tweeting about that. Do you see people have been leaving flowers on Cornelia Street?
Yeah. Like someone fucking died. like when the Queen of England died
Right.
and people were leaving flowers at Buckingham Palace.
I will like that's something I would do like for the meme. Like that would be hysterical if I like happened to be in New
Yeah.
York right now. I would love to participate in that just to like say I did. But I know that those people are serious. Like some of them are dead serious. It's
Oh, they're dead serious.
yeah.
I'm going to be in New York next
Oh
week
my God,
randomly.
go.
I think I'm going with a lot of podcasters who are Taylor stans. So we're going to do a Taylor afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we'll be there, but like I'm not buying flowers and like laying them down to rest. I saw one TikTok of this girl who walked down Cornelia Street and then just like took the flowers and was like, she doesn't need these. Like she doesn't even live there anymore. Like
She doesn't even go here. It's not even relevant. And she's fine. Also,
totally.
she's literally fine. So that's
She's literally fine.
yeah.
The Duolingo board on TikTok went to Cornelia Street and said, making my final pilgrimage to Cornelia Street to offer my condolences.
So unhinged.
Like,
Also,
so unhinged.
people had beef with the owl for that. People have had beef with a lot of brands that have been talking about Taylor Swift. There was some random Starbucks had a sign that was like,
Oh, I saw that.
what drink you should get based on your favorite Taylor Swift ex, and it had Joe on there. And people are like, it is so disgusting that brands are using Taylor's breakup to capitalize. I'm like, this is literally some Swiftie getting paid minimum wage. So it's like, this would be funny. This would be funny. I'm gonna make Joe Alwyn a fucking chai tea latte. Like, relax. Let's relax.
Literally, it is like a 14-year-old at their like part-time high school job that was just like, hey, let's like, it would be fun to do like, yeah, like a fun bulletin board. Like,
it was so excessive.
And then we had Nick Cannon. You sent this to me, commenting that he would love for Taylor Swift to be his 13th baby mama because, you know, he has 12 kids. She loves the number 13.
So fucking gross. That is a nasty thing to say. Like, I don't know what made you think you have the prerogative to say something as heinous as that about anyone. But that also like mere days after it's announced, and he's like, you know what? Like, ew.
He knows how to get that soundbite though. Like
He does, yeah.
That's the perfect soundbite. But I know I was just like, this is so unnecessary.
Like, icky. Like, ew.
So gross. What do you think's next for Taylor Swift? What's the post-mortem on this relationship?
I don't know, because obviously I saw everyone was like freaking out as soon as it happened, talking about how they were so excited for the album that we'll get from this. And I'm like, we are so far from getting a brand new Taylor Swift album, I feel like. Like she has tour, she has like
Absolutely.
how many more re-releases? 4? 3?
Four
4 more re-releases. Like, and she already like heinously released a brand new album in the middle of re-releases. Like that's just not gonna happen for a while, in my opinion.
Absolutely, especially if she takes the Eras tour internationally.
Which she's going to. There's no way she won't do that. So it's like, but I am excited because so many people have been speculating that this tour would be like the last tour of her career, and she would basically end her career after this and like would just get married and have kids and retire. And I'm like, at least now we know that that's not what she's gonna do, because she's not getting married or having babies anytime soon, apparently.
Yeah. There's been rumors swirling online that she's going to drop all 4 re-recorded albums at the same time. You don't think that there's any validity to that? Yeah, I don't think so either, just because like you have to give each one of them space.
Yeah, like financially that would be like no business manager of Taylor Swift is going to say that's a good idea. Like, you know what I mean? They have to give them time to breathe and let them all have their moment, because that's how you make money. Not that that's like a concern of hers at all, but like realistically that has to happen.
Especially because yes, they're re-recorded albums, but all of them have unreleased songs. So you do get like quote unquote new music.
Exactly.
With each of them.
Exactly.
So she just straight up wouldn't do that. Yeah, she'll probably be touring for 2 years. Like she was at one point on like a, you know, like every 2-year kind of album release track, but who knows what will
Well,
happen
right,
next. But
because with the re-releases, I feel like it's like a whole new ball game. It's like not as predictable. But yeah, I
for
feel like people
sure.
have been saying that because people said that she was going to release all the re-releases before she went on tour, and I was like,
I
there's
know.
no
And then
way she was going to release
I
Midnights
know.
in the fall and then somehow release 4 re-releases before she went on tour in March. Like, no.
Yeah. I think we get Speak Now and 1989 probably this year, and then maybe Debut and Rep next year, and then maybe the year after that we will get a
Yeah,
new album, or 1 year in between, and then we'll get a new album. Who knows? But like,
I think only thing I'm like
be fucking for real.
yeah, exactly. I think the only thing I'm like certain is that the next one is going to be Speak Now. But like, I've just given up trying to guess because like I never thought that she would have announced Midnights when she did. Like that just made no sense and came out of nowhere. So it's like
Totally.
it's not even like a guessing game that we can participate in because she's just like has all these things just pop up.
Totally. And I feel like my For You page is all of these conspiracy theories
Mhm.
about when she's going to do this stuff. And like, it gets to a point where it's like not fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's like they're never right. Like so many times they got my hopes up for like things that were gonna happen because like it's Friday the 13th, she's gonna announce
Yeah.
this, and then like it would come and go and nothing would happen. And I'm like, okay. I just got all excited for what? Like I'm just gonna wait until Taylor says something and then I will believe it.
100%. Even Jack Antonoff, he posted like a picture or a video on his Instagram, and there was 4 dates written on the wall. Like it was kind of like a whiteboard or something like that where you like write out ideas and
Mhm.
whatever. And one of them was April 8th, and then one of them is April 29th. And I think one was like May 13th or something like that. And everyone's like, April 8th was the breakup,
Mhm.
April 29th, High Infidelity
Mhm.
music video, and then May 13th, like Speak Now. And I'm like, or that's like stuff to do with bleachers. Like,
Or that's like his upcoming doctor's appointments and he just like can't forget them. Like that's realistically what that is. Uh, but I
literally.
was glad to see, well, I was glad and also surprised to see her out and about bopping around New York yesterday, 2 days
Yeah.
ago. Because it's
Yeah.
just like, what are you up to, sister? Why are we suddenly getting paparazzi shots of you? What's going on? Is it just to like say,
Yeah.
I'm good, I'm here,
I think
fine?
so. I think that that was it because if Taylor Swift doesn't want to be seen, she won't be
Right,
seen.
right.
And she left the front entrance of apparently a kind of celeb
Yeah.
hotspotty restaurant. I think it was called like Via
Karada.
Carada.
Karada, yeah.
Yeah. Carota. I'm like, I gotta go there next week.
Just sit outside.
Yeah. But yeah, it seemed very purposeful.
Mhm.
She had that butterfly like pattern on her leg. I feel like that's like
Mm.
metamorphosis coming out of a
Mm.
cocoon type of thing.
Next album?
Yeah, metamorphosis.
It like could be because people have been I saw so many things.
Hey,
What?
Hillary Duff is
I was
shaking.
literally just thinking that I'm like, is she gonna have to get that like trademark? Like, is she gonna have to like go to court and like fight Hillary Duff over that? But I feel like I've seen so many things that are like she was hinting at Midnights like 6 years ago, and I'm like, this could be her
Yeah.
hinting at the next album that she releases.
Literally. Like her bag was called Moonlight. This was the one. I'm so deep in this. It's actually like, as soon as I say this out loud, it's actually like so unhinged. But her bag was called Moonlight. And then, Nice Boy Ed. Okay, so Nice Boy Ed was like, I think they released 2 songs in the fall. People thought it was Joe Alwyn because it was like only followed by like Taylor Swift or like whatever. And then they've been posting Polaroids,
Okay.
and they posted 10 Polaroids to like make up, I don't know, something. And one of them, the last one, said Moonlight. So now people are like, is it Taylor Swift? Like, it's not Joe Alwyn, obviously. Like, what's going on? So I don't know. Who fucking knows?
That is
like
the name
I
of her
actually feel
bag.
like I actually feel like a psycho. Yeah.
Okay, this is a safe
Let me
space.
double check this Instagram account. Nice Boy Ed. It's nice_boy_ed. They released the song Heaven on October 13th.
Oh.
And Life You Lead on September 16th. And yeah, people really thought it was Joe Alwyn. It says Moonlight April 14th, pre-save. So
interesting.
Who knows?
That is interesting.
We will
Not
see.
you like convincing me of a new conspiracy after I literally make fun of you.
We'll see on Friday what comes out of it.
We will.
Do you have any people you would want to see Taylor Swift with next?
No.
Me neither. This is gonna sound bad, but I feel like her and like Kim Kardashian and stuff like that, people that are like literally at the top of their game and always on the grind, sometimes I feel like they're not meant to have a relationship, but just like can't sustain one. Like, I don't know. Maybe that sounds really rude, and like I definitely want to be one of those people that's like, you can have it all, but like, I don't know. I just feel like it would just be really tough.
I agree. I think it's rude that you compared her to Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Because she has the ability to like hide her life so much better than Kim Kardashian does, because that's Kim Kardashian's entire life. But
right.
I think she needs to just date someone that's not in the industry at all, and just make like be their sugar mama and just like take them everywhere, like with her, you know.
But isn't that what she was doing with Joe, basically?
Yes, like, theoretically. But I think she just needs someone. Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't trust, if I were at her level, I would not trust a single other like famous person trying to date me. I would not. I'd be like,
I wouldn't trust anybody. That's another thing.
True. It's true. But it's like, if you're dating like a real estate agent, like what do they have to gain? Like notoriety wise. But then it's like money, I guess. Like she is obviously filthy rich, so I guess. But I feel like that would be the hardest thing about being rich and famous. And like at her level, it's like, because there's so many other celebrities that would, like every other celebrity basically would benefit from dating her, because it's like she's just that big of a name.
Totally, except for Harry Styles.
Except for Harry Styles. I keep seeing memes about Pete Davidson, and people are like,
I know.
Keep Pete away.
Like literally, I'm also like, he's super, I feel like, happy with Chase Suey Wonders. Like he doesn't.
Yeah. It just would be on brand for him to attempt.
100%. But yeah, I definitely think like, unless you are peers, which I guess we could think of like people that are her peers, but unless, like, I think like when Olivia and Joshua Bassett were dating, or like things like that, like unless you're peers starting out together or like at the same point of your careers, I feel like it would be so tough to like ever really fully trust someone.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Kardashians, let's talk about Khloe.
Okay. If you say so.
She was seen with Tristan, who just got signed with the Lakers, at a McDonald's drive-thru, which I thought was very relatable.
Yeah. Is anyone surprised? It's like the least surprising thing in the world.
I 100% think they're back together, and they're just keeping it 100% private. They hang out all the time, and the family, like the extended family, Corey Gamble was just at his Lakers game or whatever. Kim and him were hanging out. Like, it's just like, I'm assuming that they're back together, or family treats like they're back together. I also want to remind everybody that when Tristan had the baby with Mara Lee, the fitness instructor in Texas, he was Snapchatting her that he was going to retire and could like no longer afford the $75,000 a year in like child support or whatever. And then he got signed with, I know nothing about basketball, but like seemingly the biggest basketball team in the fucking country. He's such a piece of shit.
I was waiting for you to punctuate that sentence with something, and there it is. Yeah, he's just like such a piece of shit. And it's like, this is like one of those things where I don't even care about it. I mean, you know, I've been like on the outs of the Kardashians. Like, I just don't care anymore. Like, it's all so boring. It's so stale. It's the same thing over and over and over again. But like this especially is like, I stop. Like, just stop. No one cares.
know.
It's like it just happens again and again and again. And it's like so boring. And no one has any sympathy for you. And guess what's gonna happen this time? He's gonna cheat on you. And then
Yeah.
what? Like, it's like just stop. Like, I cannot even be bothered to like pretend to care about this because it's so lame. She's like
100%.
she's so lame for this. And it's hard because I know they have kids together and everything, and like, come on. You can figure out a way where you can co-parent and not accidentally end up back together for like the millionth time again.
Yeah. Yeah, like I know that it's hard. Like I feel like people aren't giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like it's hard, but like you can do it, Khloe. Like especially you with all your
Well,
resources.
that's what I'm saying. It's like if
Yeah.
if like two random parents in like the middle of nowhere with no money and like can figure out how to co-parent together and not accidentally get back together, like you got it. You can do it for sure.
Totally. She also hasn't revealed the baby name, but she was on the Jennifer Hudson like talk show. She said it's going to be revealed in the season 3 premiere of The Kardashians on Hulu. And Jennifer asked, "Does it start with a T?" And she says, "Yeah, it starts with a T." And on their Easter baskets and cookies and stuff like that, it had all of the kids' names and then just Baby Thompson on the cookie.
It's also
And the basket.
just like so bizarre to like think of a world where you have a baby and you don't tell anyone what the name of the baby is until season 3 of your reality TV show is out. Like, that's such a kind of sad sentence to say. Like, oh, I
It's so
can't
like
tell you.
dystopian.
It's so dystopian. Like, oh, you want to
Yeah.
know the name of my baby? Guess you have to tune in next week on, like, ew, so gross. It's your child. Like, so weird.
And it would be so weird because like North and Mason and Saint, and maybe not Saint, I can't remember his age, but like he can all read. How fucking weird would it be on Easter morning where you walk out with all your cousins and siblings and look at your Easter baskets and you're like, why does Trevor's or whatever say Baby Thompson?
If his name is Trevor, I will lose my shit. That would be hysterical. Or like Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy
Why
Thompson.
why does Tommy say Baby Thompson? Oh no, it's okay, honey. We just have to save that information for the season 3 premiere of our show.
I cannot wait. Like, I cannot wait for these kids to grow up and do like massive exposés on growing up in this dystopian family, because that will be like, I feel like we'll get such tea from these children.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
For sure.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be her.
For sure. Yeah. Or even if she doesn't think it's dystopian, like she's not trying to do an expose, but I feel like it'd be like, oh, this is like how I grew up. And then people are going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
come again? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. There's so much other Kardashian news. Do you watch American Horror Story?
I don't, but I saw the news.
Yeah. And then Kris Jenner, did you see what she said on the Howie Mandel show?
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it on this podcast. It's actually NSF.
Oh my god! No, I
actually don't want to say it. Okay, maybe I'll say it and then I'll bleep it out. But she said she was a squirter. Like fully just like serious.
Like, I'm sorry, on the Howie Mandel show?
Yes, on the Howie Mandel podcast.
I cannot picture a singular scenario wherein a conversation with Howie Mandel elicits that response. I cannot.
100%. Then even he was like, huh? And she was like, oh yeah, I'm...
No.
I can't even say it out loud. I'm going to beep it.
No one asked for that information.
No. Nope.
Like, how did they get there?
I don't even know because I've just seen that clip, but it's just so ridiculous about how it's like, oh, the Kourtney and Travis doc is coming April 13th. The Hulu show's coming May. Time to ramp up the press. Like, drop the American Horror Story. Drop the McDonald's pics. Like,
so
drop
crazy.
the news about Kris.
Stop referring to it as news. What it is
They get the Chris soundbite.
it's unsolicited information that we did not ask for.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
100%.
jarring. But I'm glad you told me. I would have been reeling for the entire rest of recording this podcast. Like,
I
what?
know. Okay, let's move on. We covered in Just Like That season 1. We're
Mhm.
going to be covering season 2. It feels like that came out like fucking years ago.
I was thinking that the other day. Like, it feels like it was forever ago. And I feel like do we know when season 2 is officially coming out yet?
I think they just said the summer.
Okay. So that could be like
still
August.
a while to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, but of course, because they film in New York City, we've seen a lot of pictures of them filming on the streets. And we saw I would say, break the internet moment where Aidan
Mhm.
was back kissing Carrie on her door stoop or on her doorstep.
On her doorstep step, yes.
Yes.
Here's the thing that I think I said this to you when we saw this like months ago, and I was like, why would they show us this? Because if you're filming a scene that's that revolutionary and gives away so much plot, Aidan was not in season 1 at all. Let us recall, we were shocked that he didn't show up in any capacity. And then it was like, I remember seeing, oh, he's clearly going to be in season 2 because he's like in New York filming. But then the pictures of them kissing, could you not have done that behind closed doors? Like, why would you?
I know.
If you're filming that outdoors in the streets of New York City, you know that that's going to get spoiled. So I just don't understand. That's almost suspicious to me.
I know, and some people were reminding me that sometimes big movies like this that do film out in public literally film fake scenes to throw people off the scent. And I was like, what the fuck? Could this be like a fake scene? Then I'm like, no, okay, you need to like get back into like a grounded state of mind. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I do definitely picture Carrie and Aidan. Like, a lot of times they were like out on a street, like walking or like sitting on her doorstep and like stuff like that. Like, I definitely think that seems normal to the couple. But you're right. Like, when it's that big of a like plot point,
right?
Why wouldn't you just move it inside?
Right. Or like intentionally block it. Like you have the budget. Like you can figure out a way to film it so no one else can see it. And I was also thinking
100%.
like maybe it's just because I think season 1 had a lot of traction because it was like this iconic show coming back. And I feel like it's hard for shows like this to get people to come back for season 2 of the reboot because it's kind of like it's like so far removed at this point that I was thinking at first like it's probably just like a PR stunt to like make people interested and want to watch season 2. But I feel like they could have done that just by like having him there. Like just by his presence, I feel like people would have been like, "Oh my God, he's on the show." But like seeing them kiss, I feel like is like so excessive.
You're right, because there's a difference between him shooting a scene and them kissing.
Right.
Unless the kiss is like a fucking flashback or something, but they don't do that in the show, so that would be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird.
But yeah, I completely agree that like we've seen also scenes of him walking with the other girls and stuff like that, but you're right. It's weird that they would drop the kissing bomb specifically.
Yeah, agreed.
So do you think that they get back together? Like, what do you think is this plot line?
I think they would be stupid to have them not get back together. I think it's like, because Carrie I'm trying to remember. I don't remember her plot throughout season 1, like at all. It was that feels like so long ago.
Her husband died.
Yes, that's the only thing I literally remember of the two of them.
I think that was like that was it. Yeah. It was she was grieving and she was like trying to find apartment and stuff.
I think for them they are thinking this is the only possible person that we can like put her with that people will be rooting for at this point in time. You know what I mean? To like see her like lose the love of her life, like this iconic couple that everyone was rooting for. I feel like it would make sense to have someone like Aidan come back and like be like I could see that tying up the show nicely, you know?
But then isn't Aidan like, okay, so you're only with me because your first choice died?
No, for sure. No, like without a shadow of a doubt. So it'll be interesting to see how they work that, like how they weave that into play. Because I feel like he was always kind of playing second fiddle to Big. And so it's like, how are you going to make this work in a way? But I think we had talked about this when we recorded the episode about season 1, that we were like, could be one of those cases where you have like two loves of your life, and it's like one was for one point in time and one was for the other. So I could also see it kind of playing out as like Aidan is going to be like there for her in this like traumatic time of her life, and like maybe they just like form something new from that almost. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that makes sense for sure. Like, it was kind of like wrong time,
Mm-hmm.
wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
But now maybe she's like, it's the right time. Because I think a lot of their storyline is kind of that it was the wrong time. Like,
Right.
he wanted to like fix up his cabin and settle down to in an apartment
Mm-hmm.
with her when he like buys the one next to her and like get married and stuff. And like, she didn't want that,
Yep.
but she might want that
So
now.
true.
So
Yeah.
maybe it was just that type of stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because when she decided on big, it was kind of like I like the glitz and the glam and like the excitement
Yeah.
and like the, spontaneity. That's what I meant to say. And now it's like now she's more like settled into her life and like more established. So I feel like it could be a good time to be like settling down. And so like Aiden
Totally.
makes sense.
Yeah. It's also kind of interesting because he has kids.
Mm.
Like, I remember really briefly in the movie, I think the third movie, that when they kiss at that market or whatever, or their dinner date or
Hmm.
whatever, doesn't he say, like, oh, I have like 3 kids?
I
So
have
I feel
no
like that would be
recollection of the
interesting.
movies.
Yeah, but
Those movies are a fever dream, and I choose
yeah.
to not recall them.
I like straight up don't count them as canon.
Oh, 100% not. Those are like, yeah, those were wasn't one of them in like India?
No, Abu
Ugh,
Dhabi.
I know what I'm
The
thinking of. No,
UAE.
I'm thinking of the Cheetah Girls when they went to India. That's literally because it's the same thing. It's literally like those
The third
the
movie.
plots are like the same.
And Raven
Yeah,
isn't there.
literally.
Just like how Samantha's not in this
It's
one. Like,
literally the same thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, those were horrible.
Yeah.
So bad.
Absolutely horrible. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's just interesting. I like how they're bringing back again characters that uh are from the original,
Mhm.
but just don't know how this is going to play out. But
I know it'll be interesting to see how they kind of weave him in without making it seem like sad and pathetic on his part.
for sure. Because he was already kind of sad
It
with that.
was. It was like
I know. Like,
he was like a perpetual like sad trombone character. Like you saw him and you're like, like you just feel so bad for him.
I know. Like, he would like come and like fix her toilet, or like, yeah, he wanted to like renovate her apartment and like just do so right by her, like meet his parents and stuff. And she would just be like the biggest piece of shit.
He's kind of like one of the OG like nice guys finish last. Like you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I would kind of it'd be so iconic for him to like come back and just like totally screw her over and be like, you know what? I didn't get what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see this summer.
We will.
Let's move on to Pettyweight Champion of the Week. This is the part where of the show where the guest nominates a Pettyweight Champion of the Week, someone in the media who did something petty and it was iconic. Maddie, who are you nominating this week?
I am nominating Lily Reinhardt's new boyfriend, TikToker slash actor Jack Martin. This was iconic. This was actually so iconic. I was also shocked that they're dating in general. Like that is, I feel like huge for him. Like I'm like, wow, good for you.
Tell me about him. I have never heard of him.
So he is a TikToker. I knew him originally because yeah, he was really good friends with Brooke Abrick, Lady Efron, and Connor
Oh,
Wood
yes.
Stipula. They were really good
Yes. Okay,
friends
I
when
like
they all
them.
moved out to LA. They lived together for like a short amount of time.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
him. I know
So
him
they
because
were
he has that floppy
yeah.
hair.
They were all really good friends. Like when they were all kind of like starting out. And then he was on some like random, I want to say it was like an Amazon Prime original show that like I think it kind of flopped, but he got this like acting role and then I was kind of like, "Oh, cool. Like he's pursuing acting and appears to be good at it." And now he's dating Lily Reinhardt, but he had just recently publicly mocked Cole Sprouse for his insanely cringy Call Her Daddy episode where he was holding the cigarettes, which
Yeah, with the white button down
which like
and the hair.
find someone who didn't make fun of Cole Sprouse for doing that. You can't. But the fact that it came out that they are dating because there was like paparazzi pictures of them, like I think literally just released like this week. So iconic. Also so
So
interesting.
iconic.
It's like she must have known that if he's publicly putting out something that like he's mocking her ex, you know what I mean? It just like makes
Do you
me
think she
wonder.
slid into the DMs like at
I
that point?
don't
Or do you think
know.
that they were dating and he was like, oh, I'm going to post
I think they
this?
must have been dating prior to
That's
that.
so
Well, because
petty.
I feel like there's no way that because that was only a couple weeks ago. So for him to make fun of it and then have her slid into the DMs, and now they're already like dating publicly and like being photographed together, that seems really quick. So I feel like they would
Yeah,
have been
for
dating,
sure.
which makes me think, I don't know, that there's some like huge beef and like she's like condoning it because she obviously would have known that he did that. So that's crazy.
That's so crazy.
It is. But that's such a random couple to me. It's kind of like Cami Mendez is dating like a former Viner, I think, right?
Yes,
Which
which is
is
so
so
weird.
weird. And so it's like kind of interesting that now Lily Reinhart's also dating like a TikToker.
I kind of like that though. I just have a special affinity for like Madeline,
Mm-hmm.
Cammy, and Lily
Same.
because they filmed everything in Riverdale
Mm-hmm.
in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
And like for one of their birthdays, it wasn't the three of them, it was another co-star. They went to Longhorns, which is like an après ski pub in Whistler.
Mm-hmm.
And they just like did what like me and my friends would do, like
Mm-hmm.
at an après ski. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, that's like so fucking cool. I don't know. I just thought it was like down to earth.
Yes, I feel like their friendship is so real and like genuine. And
Absolutely. For
like and
sure.
they just come across as like you said, like just being like your friends, like your friend group, you know what I mean? Which is like
Yeah,
wholesome. And I feel like you don't really see that a lot. Like like
totally.
Kylie Jenner and her best friends are like the least relatable like subset of society, but like seeing
100%. And you know that they're like just friends because of like clout
oh
and
yeah,
shit.
exactly. So like seeing and like all the TikToks that like their TikTok account that they have together is so
Yeah,
iconic.
it's very
So
cute.
cute.
Yeah. So he's pretty cute.
Hmm.
I saw this. Yeah, I see this picture of him with Fibula and Lady Efron and Sally.
Hmm. Sally Dar.
Sally
Dark
Dar,
Griffin, yeah.
yes. Sally Dar Griffin. And I know them from TikTok, which is cute.
Hmm.
It says that he's on La Brea.
Is that what it is? I know he's on something. I vaguely saw.
That's like a pretty big show.
Is it? Then maybe it was something before
Yeah.
that. Because I remember seeing something
Okay.
and I was like, I've never heard of that in my life.
It's like an NBC series, like primetime series. So I feel like that's a big deal.
I feel like that is a big deal. Good for him.
Yeah. I have a friend that works on that show. I'm going to ask her
Oh,
if she's met
really?
him.
Oh,
Yes.
no, that definitely is it. I recognize the poster. I think I saw because it just came out in 2021, it started. So I think I saw it like prior to that and I was like, oh, that's like tea that he's on the show, but I hadn't heard of it yet because it hadn't like actually been out and popping.
Yeah. It's absolutely wild that these TikTokers are like actually making a run for it. Cause I feel like, so I've obviously been in like following pop culture forever. The only like YouTuber that I had followed since like the very beginning, cause I found Emma Chamberlain, I feel like a little bit before the
Hmm.
curve, but like not, she was already at like a
Yeah,
million or
yeah.
2 million followers. But I used to follow Jimmy
I
Tatro.
was just really just about to say him. Yeah.
Yeah, like because we went to college at the same time and like he had such funny videos. And so I was watching his channel when it was like the good old days.
Hmm.
And now he's famous. But like it's wild to see like these Jack Martins, these, Charlie Dixie,
Hmm.
Addison, people just.
Yeah.
Noah Beck I saw Noah Beck is in that new Disney Plus Doogie Howser remake. Like it's just fucking wild.
That is wild. I think something about like a Jack Martin though is like I think a lot of his TikToks were him kind of like acting. So I feel like that makes more sense that like it was like a natural like that's clearly something that he's aspired for like before he was on TikTok. which I always like to see that because it's like that's so cool that like you wanted to be an actor and then like through social media you became one. But I
Yeah.
don't love seeing like a Charlie, a Dixie who like they clearly don't want to do half the things that they end up like
Yeah.
that
Their
on
new
their
shoe
site.
line that they're gonna
I don't
do.
see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think they're doing a new shoe line. I think the whole family is doing one. It's
Of
like,
course.
yeah, but you're right. Like people like Fibula and stuff like that are, you're right, like in it for more of the like craft, not just the
Well,
fame.
and they have
Yeah.
a specific talent that's like, oh, like I know Fibula right now is like really into stand-up comedy, and I'm like, that makes sense because like that's what your videos are. So it's like those things just seem so much more like authentic and genuine and like well suited. Whereas like when Dixie D'Amelio started singing, it was like, whoa, like this isn't what you like became famous for on TikTok. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. And it's just a good reminder to be like, fucking post your shit on TikTok
So
and stuff. Like,
true.
if you want to do some of these things, like, just post it because you never know what could happen.
It's so true.
Finally, it's time for This Week in Petty, where Maddie is going to share a story about something that happened to her in her real life that she's petty about. What are you petty about this week?
So I'm down south in the United States. I'm down south.
I thought you were going to say down bad. I was like, same.
That's also in the air, actually. I am from Massachusetts, but I'm currently down south. I have been for like a month and a half at this point. And I was under the impression that Southern people are super nice because that's what everyone tells you. Everyone literally says,
Yeah.
like, there's Southern charm, there's Southern hospitality. Like, Southern people are supposed to be inherently very nice. That has yet to be my experience. In fact, they're like outwardly rude to me. I've had so many negative experiences in so many different situations where I'm like, I feel bamboozled. I feel like the world has bamboozled me. Who started this rumor that Southern people are nice? They're not. And
Yeah.
if they are nice to you, it's like backhanded. Like it's like it's so weird.
Like the whole like God bless your soul. God bless. Or
I
like God bless you.
like no one has said anything nice to me in my time being down here. Like I just haven't experienced anyone being like remotely nice. I was in Charleston, South Carolina for a month. I stayed in this very, very nice apartment building. I had an Airbnb that I was staying at, and I felt so out of my element the entire time that I was there. Like it was like bougie, bougie, and everyone. So that was definitely part of it too. Like everyone there was just like so rude. Like I would get in the elevator and they just like hated me. Like I don't know what it was. I was giving off this vibe that was like I don't fit in, I think. And so they just like
Hmm.
hated me. I had to like ask the woman at the front desk like several times. I had to like ask her questions because this building was so confusing for like no reason. And she wouldn't even look at my face. She would like still be typing on the computer while she's like, "Yep, you just have to." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Sorry for bothering you." Like, hi, I'm paying to stay
Yeah.
here. Every like I did have some like also people say that like it's the young generation is so rude. Every good experience I had was with like a person my age in like a coffee that was like working at a coffee shop or like a store or something. They're so much nicer and just like I feel like more respectful in my humble opinion. But I had the last day that I was in Charleston, I had this like wretched experience with these elder Southern folk that were so rude. I was packing up my car because I was leaving super early the next morning. I don't know if you saw this TikTok of mine. I feel so bad if you did because it's going to be very redundant. But I
We'll see.
I was looking for a luggage cart in this building because I had so much shit
Mm.
and I was trying to pack up my car and I couldn't find one. So I just started taking like the bags down to my car individually because I'm like, I can't waste time here.
Hmm.
Like I'm just gonna keep going. So
Yeah.
I get out to the parking garage and I see a woman who has a empty luggage cart that she had clearly just finished using. So I like take it from her and I had this giant tote bag that I was using to like load things into, take it out to my car, unload it, whatever. So I put this empty tote bag back onto this luggage cart and I go back inside the building. And this elderly couple that lives in the building like held the door for me to go back in. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Like, that's so nice. But then they started to like get mad at me because I like wasn't moving fast enough, which was so uncomfortable. You know when someone holds the door for you and you're kind of far away and you're like, no, like
Yeah, you're like
don't hold the door
jogging.
for
Yeah.
me. Like that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that because they held it open for me when I was like still a little bit away. Tori, I could not move this luggage cart like at all. The wheels were like going in opposite directions.
Yeah.
Like it was so wide for no reason. It was like the exact size of the door frame. Like scientifically, I don't think should have fit through this door. And they're just kind of staring at me like, hurry up. And I'm like, oh my God, don't hold the door for me then. Like, that's fine. I don't want anyone to see me in this state right now. Like, I am like drenched in sweat. It was like the hottest day that I'd been there. I'm like drenched in sweat. I look just like unkept. Like, I like it's not a good look for me. And then they noticed that the bag that's on this cart is empty. And they were like, well, do you really need a whole luggage cart just for that one bag?
And you're like, well, I'm obviously going to be putting stuff on it.
I'm literally coming from the parking garage. I'm obviously
Yeah.
either I had just dropped a ton of stuff off or I'm going up to get more stuff. And I was like, I was not in the mood. I couldn't tell if he was like kind of making like a dad joke. Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was really like nothing about my present appearance was saying like, tell me a joke in this moment. Like I'm not giving like a silly mood. Like I was not.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I have so much more stuff up at the apartment. And he was like, oh, okay. And then I go to get in the elevator and I was going to let them take the first elevator that came because I was like, I don't want to be in the same elevator with you. And like, it would have been really cramped with like 3 people plus the luggage cart. But they couldn't like read the room and see that I was like intentionally hanging back. And they're like, come on in. I was like, oh my God. So I go push the luggage cart through they have to hold the elevator door open because it's taking me forever. And they're asking me if I'm like going home for Easter, like all this stuff. And then he goes, oh, so and I have to explain to him on this like short elevator ride back upstairs.
Yeah.
That like, oh no, I'm only here for a month. I'm like renting an Airbnb. Like that's just way too lengthy, but there's no like short way to say that. So I was like, oh no, I'm actually like leaving. I was here for a month, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, I'm assuming you're in a studio. First of all, I'm like, I could genuinely have a family of 4, so fuck off. Like, what about me is giving I would have to be staying in a studio, sir? And I was like, yes, of course I am.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he literally goes, how much did you pay for it?
Oh my God.
Isn't it crazy? I was like,
that's so crazy.
I was like flabbergasted. I was like, I thought Southern people were supposed to be all about like etiquette and being polite.
Yeah, and like you don't talk about like politics and money.
Exactly. And then
yeah.
this old Southern man, it's like, how much you pay for this place? I was like, sir. But I like had to answer him because what do you say? Because then I think I made a weird face where I was like,
excuse me.
I could not hide my shock. And he was like, if you don't mind me asking. And so then I'm like, well, now I feel like I have to tell you because what am I going to say? Oh, sorry,
I do mind.
Personal. Like, so weird. So yeah, I just like have not had the best time with Southern people. I just have not found them to be as nice as everyone makes them out to be. And I have a gripe with that.
Yeah, I feel that. Also, I just hate people making small talk with me especially in an enclosed space.
That is true.
I just feel like it's never good. Like it's never fun or funny or like life-changing. Maybe I'm just a grump.
No.
But I do like when people hold the door open because so many people don't. And I'm like, that's fucking rude.
No, like, I agree with that. But I really like small talk actually, but like only in situations where I initiate it. Like if I'm like at a coffee shop and it's like me and the barista are talking, that's one thing. But you're so valid with like in an elevator. Because there were a few people that did try, like a lot of people in this building had dogs. So like I would get into the elevator and there would be a cute dog in there and I would obviously start talking to the person. And having small talk in an elevator is just like never going to be good because they're literally getting off at the next floor. It's so uncomfortable because it's like, I'm like, oh my God, like what's his name? And then they're like, oh, his name's Buster. Like he's 3 years old. And the door opens. I'm like,
bye.
I'm like, okay, bye Buster. Like have a good day. Like it's never going to be, it's just always going to be awkward because it's like, when's it going to end? Like, and then some people weirdly try to like linger and like keep the conversation going to like be friendly and polite, which is nice. But it's like, okay, get out of the elevator.
100%. But then it's like, for me, it's like, you can't have it both ways because then when people don't make small talk with me, I'm like, so fucking rude.
You're like, someone's in a bad mood.
Literally, like I was in Seattle over the long weekend. I went to Crumble Cookies, and because I am from Canada, like I wanted to pay with cash because I had taken out like American cash. I don't want to put it on my credit card. And so we couldn't use like the self-serve checkout. We had to use the like the actual people, and they were like so pissed.
That's so annoying.
And you could just tell like they served literally every single customer in the store before they even like glanced our way. And then I'm like so fucking rude. Then if they would have been like, hey, like, can't believe it's raining out, I would have been like, fucking how dare you like try to talk to me, basically.
No, it's so true. Yeah, you definitely cannot have it both ways, but like I'm going to try.
Yeah. I should be friendlier. Sometimes I'm like, why don't people like talk to me in public? And it's like probably because it's like you look like a bitch.
Yes.
Like your AirPods are in.
AirPods in 24/7.
Yeah.
Don't speak to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is wild. But I just that was a jarring conclusion that I came to, because this whole stereotype, I just like shattered it.
Yeah, that is interesting because I feel like people say that about Canadians too, but then I feel like when people do meet Canadians, they're like, oh, it was you are that polite or like whatever. Like,
right.
So I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe I just wasn't far enough south. Maybe I should have gone to like Georgia, and then I really would have maybe
felt the
I would have
Southern
felt the Southern
hospitality.
hospitality. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you watch Southern Charm on Bravo?
I do not.
Are you going to? No.
Not planning on it. Why?
Okay. I'm just curious. That's like how I know Charleston, which I know is an absolute like disservice, I'm sure, to the city, but just curious because, you know, it's a long running reality TV show based in Charleston.
That's surprising.
Do you watch Outer Banks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is like, which is funny because I was in Charleston, which is obviously where they film Outer Banks, but now I'm in the actual Outer Banks.
Yeah,
and
Outer
so
Banks,
it's like it's very meta. I've been to both places. I'm in both places.
Yeah. So there's no like filming locations that you would like see.
I saw a few in Charleston actually. There was that store that they go in. It's like so iconic in season 1, and they have a sign outside that's like Outer Banks fans don't come in. Basically, it literally says like take your pictures outside, because it's a very 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 bougie store. Like clearly everything in there costs a ton of money, and they probably have like teens traipsing in there like to like take a picture of like where John B stood, and it's like, well, that's a lot. And then I went to dinner one night in this like one area that was like right on the water, and it's like this whole marina area where they film a lot of scenes like on the boats as well. So that was cool.
That is cool. Very cool. Can't wait to hear more about it on your podcast.
Which you will hear very soon.
Okay, this was a lot of fun. Maddie, where can the listeners find you, and anything else you want to plug?
As of right now, the listeners can find me on TikTok, because that's where I'm most active, as Tori's made abundantly clear. I'm on TikTok at @mad_Mitch. That's it.
Amazing. I love it. Okay, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Maddie for joining me on today's episode. Again, since I'm going to be on vacation, might be a little different around here, but it will be the same on Patreon. So check out patreon.com/RTBP podcast to get your weekly fill of pettiness. I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Tori, and I am ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.